So John Fetterman is actually making sense. A horde of thugs looted Philadelphia and, oh yeah, the CIA snuck Dr. Fauci into headquarters so that they could lie about the pandemic. This is the BRINK. And guys, I love having you all here, but I want more of you guys. So please, remember, like, comment, subscribe. If you like the BRINK, you like what you see, you like what we do here. And if you love it, you can also become a Daily Caller Patriot. There is a link in the description below. Lots of great exclusives, really great analysis pieces that you don't want to miss. So apparently the CIA snuck Dr. Fauci into headquarters at the start of the pandemic so that he could, quote, influence the CIA's review of the origins of the coronavirus. Now, that is just fancy jargon for the CIA wanted Dr. Fauci to help them cover up. But why was the CIA so desperate to cover up for China? Why did Dr. Fauci beg scientists to write studies on the pandemic to, quote, disprove the lab leak, even though he admits in emails that he knew Wuhan was doing gain-of-function research and that COVID-19 likely didn't evolve naturally? And why did Dr. Fauci, in his last months at the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Disease, award more than $500,000 to EcoHealth Alliance, which funded the Wuhan Institute of Virology? And why was NIH funding gain-of-function research? You know, they keep telling us that the deep state isn't real, but you know what's not real? Every single thing that they have ever told us. Now look, I think most of us knew right out the gate that the virus, all this stuff around it, it was not on the up and up. But even as early as 2021, we had knowledge of State Department officials ordering employees to not disclose that the U.S. was funding gain-of-function research. In fact, one person who was at one of these meetings told Vanity Fair that the comments were, quote, so nakedly against transparency that they were, quote, shocking and disturbing. Come on, was this person really shocked that our government wasn't being transparent? That's like saying the sky's blue and being like, what? You're telling me this for the first time. Come on, our agencies conspired against the American public and then jailed people who questioned it. You were literally being arrested if you knew that something was up, that they were making a big hoopla about it, so you decided to keep your business open. You were arrested. You were labeled a possible domestic terrorist if you questioned the government on the lab leak. You were banned, and this one is my favorite. You were banned from buying seeds in a store greater than 50,000 square feet in Michigan because science. You were being screened to enter certain venues. And it wasn't because of a virus. They knew all along that this virus had a 99.9+% chance of survival. No, it was a test run. The government wanted to see how far they could go, who complied and who didn't, how many people complied and how many didn't. Speaking of compliance, remember how the government pretty much made it seem like you would literally drop dead the second you stepped outside during the first few months of the pandemic? And then suddenly that threat just, evaporated. It disappeared. If you were congregating outside with thousands of other people to burn down precincts and loot cities across America.
You have the police station here fully engulfed. The building right behind it, which you can't see, is the fire station.
Well, maybe the COVID compliance has stopped, but the looting sure as hell hasn't. Take a look at these videos from Philadelphia this week.
Everybody must eat! Everybody must eat! Everybody must eat! Everybody must eat!
More than 100 teens looted Apple, Lululemon, T-Mobile, Foot Locker, you name it, anywhere they could get into, they went into. And this happens because they know they can do it. They saw the leniency in 2020, and they know that there is some idiot or idiots out there who will look at these people and say, oh, they're fighting racism by breaking into the Apple store. And this goes deeper. What has happened to society that this is how kids and teens are being raised? How they think that they can behave? Where are their parents? It's a question so simple, but you have to ask that, right? Because this culture, in part, has been created through social media, right? It is created through listening to that, trash gang-banging music that these kids love, right? The one that glorifies violence and drugs. It degrades women. We have allowed a culture of degeneracy to fester, and we're just now seeing the fruits of our labor, right? And I don't know how many of you saw the trailer for this video series, but I meant it when I said it. This is not the America that your grandparents grew up in, because this would never fly back then, right? There was law and order. There were consequences. people knew that there was right and wrong and they understood it and they taught it to the next generation. Now, these are words that I really didn't think would ever come out of my mouth, but John Fetterman is right. Take a listen.
I mean, they're taking back our pandas. You know, we should take back all of their farmland. The Chinese government and other U.S. adversaries should own zero agricultural land in our country. I believe that.
So Chinese nationals own about 338,000 acres of American farmland, including land near a North Dakota Air Force base. Luckily, people are onto this scheme, with residents in a rural Michigan town successfully stopping a Chinese Communist Party-backed company from buying farmland. But you know who can't be successful in stopping the Chinese Communist Party from buying farmland? Floridians. And do you know why? Because the Biden administration has sued Florida over their law that prohibits Chinese citizens from owning land. Now, let's be clear about what this law stipulates. The law prohibits Chinese citizens who are domiciled in China, as well as other foreign citizens from, quote, countries of concern, from buying any real property or agricultural land within 10 miles of a military installation or critical infrastructure facility in the state. The law does not apply to citizens of those countries who also hold U.S. citizenship or are lawful permanent residents. Seems pretty fair. And yet, the Biden administration is wasting our tax dollars to fight Florida so that these Chinese citizens who are living in Florida but work on behalf of a brokerage business for their Chinese clients can buy farmland potentially near sensitive sites. And I wonder, have these Chinese citizens just thought of flying a balloon over Florida? Probably be no repercussions. Not like our government cares, right? Now, folks, I asked if anyone was outraged yesterday about the gun laws in New York. I'm giving you another opportunity to get this answer right on this go-around. So Democratic California tyrant-in-chief Gavin Newsom, he signed a set of laws this week that adds what he calls sin taxes onto ammunition and gun purchases. He also signed a law that, once again, basically prohibits Californians from carrying in basically any place. Guys, a government does not work this hard to slowly strip you of rights unless they have something bigger planned. And that something bigger? Total confiscation. They want to vilify Americans who are law-abiding citizens with a healthy distrust of the government. And why? Because you create a culture that penalizes gun owners, then you eventually create a culture that eventually outlaws them. Turn the public against its fellow citizens for exercising their constitutional right. Stoke division in the name of public safety. People love that. They love to feel safe. They love to feel like their government is keeping them safe. And I mean, look, California cares so much about public safety that DAs statewide actually let criminals out early who then go on to murder people because they take public safety very seriously there. Without the Second Amendment, none of the others matter. You won't have any of the others, quite frankly. Oh, what are you gonna do? Yell at the government with your big scary words? Oh no. Guys, I end with Thomas Paine, who said in 1776, "The present state of America is truly alarming to every man who is capable of reflection. No truer words have been spoken, and no truer words mean as much as they do right now." Folks, we'll see you tomorrow for another